Right, folks. Sorry for the delay, but there were some little things to talk about before going live and what have you. So we're all good. On a like
Huh?
on one note, I can confirm. Going into hang on, I did have the checklist. Here we are. I can confirm the first three scripts for season 19 of Real Features have been written. And one of those will be for the 11th anniversary of The Amazing Spider Man,
Oh, nice.
which means either sometime tomorrow morning when I come home from work, or in the afternoon, or this Tuesday, I will be putting myself through Amazing 2 again. Oof.
Godspeed.
One thing I can give away as a minor spoiler, one journalist, in their words, said that the first Amazing Spider-Man was worse than Green Lantern. I'm like, okay?
Excuse
What?
me?
I don't know about that.
What?
I mean, Amazing 1 had its faults. I will grant the reviewer that, but Green Lantern was a train wreck compared to Amazing 1.
Oh, God.
I mean, I'll give Ryan Reynolds this. He tried. He tried to make it work, but that suit.
There's a reason he makes fun of it in all the Deadpool movies.
Just don't make the super suit, green or animated. But no, I mean, Amazing 1 for what it is. It's no Spider-Man 2, which I still consider the measuring stick of how you do a Spider-Man movie and a superhero sequel, for that matter. But at that time, it washed the taste of Spider-Man 3 out of our mouths. Because,
Not to mention, off topic, Andrew Garfield's portrayal of Peter Parker and Spider-Man was like, well, I think for me it was fresh out of the comics because not only you get the wisecracking Spider-Man, you get the human.
yes,
You get my drift.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's like with anything. That particular movie, you had the right actor for Spidey. It's just the script did him no favors.
Like in the second one,
Oh, don't. Just no. No. Just no. And I hope Sony actually do us all a favor and at some stage or another, Amazing 3. That is all I will say. Because Andrew, at the very least, deserves this. And I just realized I hadn't updated the graphics accordingly for that, so that's fine. But no, like I say, the first two scripts are done, and what I'm going to try to get into this habit of is whenever I go to do filming live segments is have at least say 3 to 4 scripts written up, but when the live segments for it are there, it's just like get it all done in one go so you don't have to keep setting up the camera, setting up the audio, and just go, okay, live segments for that review done, second review done, third, then the fourth. Then all you gotta do is worry about concentrating on the voiceovers for the respective reviews after that, so that when you get to each one, it's like, okay, the live segments for that already recorded like 2 to 3 weeks ago. Get through that, get through that, get through that, and then you can just edit each one respectively. Because like I've said, June's got something particularly special this year that I want to get to, and I notice a certain Mr. Noir has joined us.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey.
Not too bad, sir. Just saying to the audience, the first 3 scripts for season 19 of Real Features have been written up because I'm not going to have a repeat of last summer.
What? Okay.
Simply because, and Stephen can vouch for this, the heat wave in the UK last summer just made it impossible for me to do any work. Because when the temperature was getting up into the low and mid 30s centigrade throughout the summer, it was... I mean, I probably could have done some writing during that time, but voiceovers...
Oh yeah, especially if you were to go to like, I don't know, like a 24-hour cafe or any establishment with air conditioning and free Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Well, the thing
That's
is,
what I did all the time.
The UK
Sorry?
isn't equipped for heat waves, unfortunately.
We were not.
And when you
Oh,
get
dear.
and when you got temperatures that at one point were hotter than Africa,
Yeah.
you know there's just something wrong.
Right.
Yes, but global warming's a myth, right? Okay.
Let's not go into that.
No,
Yeah, I would make jokes because I'm a
I
clown.
know.
nah. So,
Hong Kong.
because what I try to do now as a practice is, if we use the first 4 reviews of last season as an example, if I've got this script written and I've got the live action segments panned out, it's have just like one afternoon where you get each live action segment for each review done all in one go, so that way I'm not having to set up the camera, I'm not having to, set up the green screen multiple times over a period of weeks, and I just get it all done in one session, and then all I got to then do for the rest of the production is just focus on the voiceovers, and then bang, get each bit of editing and rendering done, and then that's out of the way. Because the first review, if I double check the date that I decided on, the first review is not until March 20th. Because I want to get done what I couldn't get done for last summer, and that was by the time September rolled around, it would be either the last 3 reviews were to be done or have the entire season done, because that's what I'm looking to do this year. So by the time March 20th rolls around, I intend to either be working on the last 3 reviews or have the entire season finished, because I know once we get to like May, June-ish, that's when the summer's like, oh, I'm going to ruin your production. So I was like, no, the fuck you ain't. No. We are not doing this again. That'd be like Oni having a really nice day. It's like, I'm having such a trouble-free day. Nothing could ever go wrong. And then Fate is like, oh, Mr. Rakaku, I'm about to make things very difficult for you. It's like, why now?
Oh,
Why
yeah.
now?
He tends to have a bit of Murphy's Law kind of logic when it comes to a block sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
It's like Homer Simpson once said, if it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't even have any luck at all.
True.
So, the script for Amazing 1, I mean, this is no spoiler because everyone knows I'm doing Spider-May, for at least the next 2 years.
Shipping Spider and Mary Jane?
I'd rather ship Spider-Gwen, but that's only because the way Emma Stone portrayed Gwen Stacy. And also, people don't know this, at the time, Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone were actually dating in real life, so that actually aided the chemistry in the story.
Right, yeah, we know that.
Yeah, a couple of people.
Yeah, that wasn't exactly a well-kept secret.
People at work didn't know that, but that's a story for onto itself for another time. Anyway,
Did Tom Holland spill the beans on that too?
I knew it.
Of course.
but like I say, it's no spoiler because I did the original trilogy last year, and the script for Amazing 1 is already written. I'm just delving into Amazing 2 over the next few days, and I'll be like, oh.
That should be fun.
The only things I find redeeming about that movie, number one, Andrew and Emma, they're one of the very few redeeming factors because chemistry is just perfect, and it's the most comic book accurate version of the suit to date. The rest of it, And as I've said on Facebook, Steve, if I've got time, I will do a retrospective on Into the Spider-Verse, but it all depends if I get time.
Ooh.
It all depends if I get time, because this June is going to be something of a passion project, and I need to have my energy and focus for this.
Okay.
And as I've stated, I will be requiring Wynn's services again.
Yay!
That is all I'm going to divulge at this time. But one spoiler I'm going to say for season 20, September, 15th anniversary of The Dark Knight. That is coming for this summer. But that's not till September time, and like with what I'm doing for June, I need time for that, because The Dark Knight is not something you can touch upon lightly. You know, it's one of those movies, treat it with respect.
Can you touch
Why
upon it
so
softly?
serious?
Say again, Kaiju?
Can you touch upon it softly?
Not
Or can
entirely,
you touch upon it
But remember-
roughly?
not entirely sure where you're
But
going
remember-
with that.
I don't know where you going
remember-
with that.
I was talking in metaphors. I don't know what you're talking about,
I
man.
was just talking about how your approach to reviews. Where are you talking about?
Okay, this is... Let's get on to the first
But
topic.
remember, always wear your hockey pants.
Okay, I might actually include that as a little piece, so that's actually quite helpful. Okay, let's see. Let me get... Is that actually showing up?
Not that I can see. Oh, hang on.
Ah, that'll be why I haven't got the new window opened up. Let's see.
Mhm.
There we go. Okay. Let's see. This may be useful to Madam President as well. The top 20 most iconic movie quotes from the 90s. The 90s were filled with some incredibly memorable quotes, some of which may still find themselves wriggled into modern day conversations. The 90s were filled with some incredibly memorable quotes, many of which we still find themselves wriggled into modern day conversations, just said. From the romantic to the comedic and the downright cool, 90s provided some classic quotes filled with all the imagination and pizzazz. Oh, so that's how you actually spell it, of the decade. Expertly delivered by a range of stars, some quotes help add comic relief, while others round up the storyline of a movie in insightful one-liners. Some manage to still relate well with a modern-day audience, and can be worthwhile mottos to live by or warnings to avoid. With the decade being absolutely jam-packed with some crackers to choose from, it's difficult to compile a mere list of 20 offerings. However, some just rise above the rest as undeniable movie gems. Number 20.
I think what we can do here is determine whether or not these are quotes that people still use to this day, and if these are quotes that anyone younger than us, at least 10 years younger than us, would recognize. Just to see if these, just to really look at these, just to really look at these quotes to see if they have stand the test of time or if this is more of a millennial thing.
Ah,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
yeah.
Number
All right,
20.
let's go to number 20 then.
Keep the change, you filthy animal. Home Alone.
Nice.
I'm not sure about that one because I feel like more people say Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
Yeah, see that I was
And
about.
Happy New Year.
I'm glad you brought that up because I myself don't never use "Keep the Change, you filthy animal," but around Christmas I definitely use "Merry Christmas, you filthy animal" at least to one of my friends during the holidays.
And leave the room and then come back in and say, and a Happy New Year.
Right.
Well, some people would actually know that because that is the line used in the Porch Pirate videos. Yeah,
Huh.
uses that bit of audio in it.
Oh,
Oh, I
And the
did not know
Glotterbombs.
that. Oh, those things.
the thing that
Yep.
gets me is they never actually made a movie out of the fictional movie within Home Alone, you know, Angels
Oh,
with
but that's
Filthy Souls.
but that's because that's a parody of an already existing movie.
Oh.
Oh.
We
Okay.
just
I
look
didn't
up what
know
it's
that.
called.
So they made a parody movie within a movie.
Huh.
Yes.
Movieception.
Let's see. Looking it up right now. What was it based on? Oh, okay, here we go. So the movies, the fictional film within a film is called Angels with Filthy Souls. It is a reference to the 1938 film noir movie Angels with Dirty Faces.
Ah.
Oh.
Angels with Dirty Faces, Angels with Filthy Souls.
That makes sense.
Hmm. Home Alone opens with the hectic McAllister family preparing for their vacation in Paris in this beloved Christmas classic. When the family manage to sleep in past their alarm, chaos ensues as they frantically get themselves out of the house and to the airport. In the palaver, the youngest member of the family, Kevin, gets left behind. At first, Kevin revels in being home alone and enjoys the freedom it provides. His easy living doesn't last long when two burglars enter the scene. Kevin rigs the house with a variety of inventive traps to catch the burglars and protect his home. Kevin uses the snippet from an old gangster movie multiple times to equally amusing effect to both scare an innocent pizza guy. I was half and half with it, because when he said cheapskate, I'm like, nah.
Oh, you shouldn't have said that.
And one of the Weasley burglars. Both individuals are effortlessly fooled and equally terrified as gunshots follow, ending perfectly with "Keep the change, you filthy animal." Number 19.
So,
Okay.
Classic line, I'm going to say yes. A line that everyone uses, I'm going to say no. I'm going to argue no.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that too. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
do people remember it, but do we use it in our lexicon? No, not that one.
It gets boring for a while.
Number 19.
All right.
Hasta la vista, baby. Terminator 2.
No. Hasta la vista.
Oh.
I'm going to use
Hasta la
Spanish,
vista.
use it right.
Oh,
Yes,
The H is always quiet.
really?
we
Really?
would know.
Like the Terminator, it's silent but deadly.
Ah.
Nah.
Well, my gunshot is not silent. And this has got a silencer on it.
No, my controversies.
Anyway. 7 years after the first movie of the franchise was released and introduced the famous line, "I'll be back," Judgment Day brought yet another action-packed cracker. In the second installment, over a decade has passed since the first Terminator tried and failed to kill a pregnant Sarah Connor. Her child is fated to one day become the leader of the human resistance against the machines. A new and improved Terminator is sent back in time by supercomputer Skynet. Its only mission is to kill her child before he has a chance to grow up a lead and lead the resistance. In a twist of fate, however, the original T-800, who was sent to originally kill her, is also sent back in time to protect her and her child from this new threat. Hasta la vista, baby. Memorable
So,
line.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you go first.
Memorable line. I probably only ever catch myself saying it if I'm saying stuff with regards to Terminator. Anything else, probably no.
I gotta go with I've said it every once in a while, but like I more catch myself saying I'll be back rather than hasta la vista, baby.
I'm gonna say, like, yeah, another very classic line, perhaps like Schwarzenegger's, biggest, most popular catchphrase besides "I'll be back." But let's see, if this was 20 years ago, at like the peak of heck, 30 years ago. This was 30 years ago at the peak of Schwarzenegger's popularity. 25 to 30 years ago, yes, everyone in the 90s was using this phrase all the time. But in the decade since, I'm gonna say no, not at all.
It won't be back.
Are you really sure about that? Given how the last two Terminator, the last four Terminator movies turned out.
I was referring to the.
Hey, I don't acknowledge him at this point.
I was referring.
They keep trying to bring back Terminator, but it never works.
They should have. Yeah, they should have stopped it too. I'm sorry, they should have.
Liz, we've been saying that.
Hollywood.
We've been saying that since Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Hollywood's got a Hollywood.
Literally 31 years at this point.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I was referring to the catchphrase of "Hasta la vista," saying "I won't be back."
Ah.
Because to be
I think
fair,
the only thing we acknowledge is Sarah Connor Chronicles.
yes.
Basically,
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, with Terminator 3, guilty pleasure. That's all I'm gonna give it. There are things I like about it, but I just look at it as I would have been fine without it. But compared to the other three that went after it, it's like, at the time, worst Terminator movie. After Dark Fate, it's like, okay, you get a pass. And I'm being generous with that.
Die in a fire.
Dark Fate can not only go die in a fire, it can then have its remaining reminiscence and then further have it ground down even further until it's microscopic.
Indeed.
No, just send it into a black hole.
Oh no, come on,
Yeah,
man.
send it to oblivion.
This is a movie so bad that not even
Send
Oni
it to
would.
the Shadow Realm.
This is
Yes.
this is a movie so bad that not even Oni would review it if drunk. Kitsune.
No, he wouldn't review. No, not even sober or drunk. Thank you.
Heck, he wouldn't even review it if he was Jim Cornette drunk.
Oh no, no.
So yeah, I probably only, like I say, I'll probably only catch myself saying this if I'm looking at Terminator 2 or if it's, like a retrospective. But like Lids, I'll probably catch myself saying I'll be back more than anything. So yeah. Number 18. You can't handle the truth. A Few Good Men.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I'm gonna give this one a definite yes. I've definitely used this a lot myself.
The thing is, we use it, but do remember what movie it's from? That's the question.
No.
I think that's
No.
that's a sign of a good line where it becomes so ingrained into our linguistic pop culture lexicon that it has gone beyond the film itself and has pretty much become a phrase that people just happen to know by heart. A lot of things are like that, where it's there are certain phrases or elements that we all know of, but it's like most of us don't even know where it even come from because it's been just been so ingrained in our language for that much.
Yeah. Okay, that's a different way of looking at it. Fair enough.
A few good
I mean,
men.
you're talking to a former English teacher here whose job it was to teach phrases like these to my students and then research them, look them up whenever my students would say, "Why do you say that? Where does that phrase come from? What does it actually mean?" I'm like, "That's a very good question." And then, like, in certain cases, I do the same for my students where I would say, "Why do you use these kanjis to spell these particular words?" And they're like, "We don't know." So then I would end up trying to pick apart these Japanese kanjis and see why do they use these particular words to make up particular phrases.
Makes sense. And again, this is someone who only has a high school education. I'm sorry. Public school, mind you, but still.
And that is why I'm here. No, I'm joking.
Hey, Lids, to be fair, at least compared to some people in America, at least you actually finished school.
Touche. I'll give you that one.
What are you trying to say about Americans, MJ?
To be fair, I said some, not all.
Yeah.
I still take it. No, I'm joking.
And with Raiden, he not only finished school, he mastered in the University of Slandering.
What are you trying to say about that? No.
Okay, I got that one.
Oh my goodness.
How dare you?
A Few Good Men manages to create a thrilling courtroom drama. Two Marines find
You
them.
just can't handle the truth, MJ.
Two Marines find themselves accused of murder, and Navy lawyer Lieutenant Daniel Caffey is their only hope. Caffey is renowned for taking plea bargains. However, in this case, he's convinced to take the case more seriously. Lieutenant Commander Joanne Galloway, I think that was played by Demi Moore, I think, brings across the notion that the accused men are not at fault and were probably only carrying out an order. Caffey decides to take the risk in foregoing the plea to prove the Marine's innocence. What follows is an unraveling of unjust conspiracy and plenty of drama. Colonel Nathan R. Jessup, Jack Nicholson, delivers the well-known line to an increasingly frustrated Caffey as tensions rise in the courtroom. Caffey demands the answers, but Colonel Nathan R. Jessup is adamant that you can't handle the truth. And say what we will about JBL, he delivered that line brilliantly in the WWE parody trailer in the run-up to Mania 21.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
I don't care for the character nor the person because he's been known to haze younger talent, especially what he did to Justin Roberts. Not okay with that, John. Not okay with that. But with that line, where he was opposite Cena, it's like, okay, I'm gonna give you that. That's well delivered. I've probably only ever caught myself saying that line maybe once or twice. But is it in something that people will say on occasion? Yeah, I would say so.
And it wouldn't even reference the movies. It's just like common knowledge. Sometimes people don't want to accept it. Like, bruh, you can't handle the truth. It's like you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it works. I mean, I've used it every once in a while, but it's just like it has to be like the right moment. Otherwise, it's just gonna sound like you're just not just saying words. You have to use it properly. Like with most phrases, like nowadays.
Context.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I feel like sometimes, and I'm going to use this example from not another teen movie, where this one character is trying to say this one specific line, which Melissa Joan Hart says, oh no, you gotta wait for the right moment to say it. He finds that perfect moment to say the line he's doing, and someone else says it, and it's like, You son of a bitch, you stole my moment. I find that happens sometimes in real life. You want to say one line you've always wanted to say, and you get that one friend who does it before you, and you're like, oh boy, we're gonna have words. And Meta's like, you stole my moment, son of a bitch. Kaiju, I think you said this is a line you've probably said like once or twice.
Oh yeah, I've already said my piece here. That this is something that's like totally ingrained into our lexicon. It is something that everyone sort of instantly knows what you're talking about. Even if people haven't watched the movie, that's a phrase that's so powerful, people still use it to this day, including yours truly.
17. Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could that they didn't stop to think if they should. Jurassic Park.
Oh, that's a freaking mouthful. That is a mouthful.
However, a mouthful it may be. I do want to say that this is definitely something that is very relevant to the point where it itself has become a meme. Exhibit A in the chat.
Yeah. Oh no.
Oh, the double down.
No, that's a double down.
Oh my.
No.
And trust me, there's on the internet. There's more where that is.
Oh no.
There's more where that came from. The fact that it's become a popular meme, it's like this is something that I will also say that a lot of people have used, especially on the internet when it comes to stuff that they think should not exist, and the only reason why it does exist is just to see if people, just for people to think if it could exist. I remember I was watching a YouTube video years ago about Mighty Number 9 and how Keiji Inafune, before he even got the game itself off the ground, he was already planning all these crazy, projects like a live-action movie, animated series, sequels galore, all kinds of merchandise. And this meme popped up where it's like your scientists, in other words, your game developers, were so preoccupied with whether or not they didn't stop to think if they should. It's that's pretty much like embodies the theme of the film itself. It's all about, playing God. It's all about playing with tampering with forces beyond your control, trying to control life, trying to do things before you fully plan. Trying to do stuff before you fully plan things out. It's such like another very powerful phrase that it is applicable to any situation, unlike something like, say, Hasta la Vista Baby, where that's like a cool action movie phrase to say if you want to sound cool. But when are you really going to have opportunity to say that? Also, the fact that everyone was using it back in the 90s means that if you use it today, you're going to come off like a cornball. Meanwhile, with this phrase, totally applicable to any situation, anywhere, with anyone.
But remember, you got to say it like Jeff Goldblum. Otherwise, it doesn't count.
You are probably right, Lydia.
You do that way too well.
See that Bill, there it is. And now, MJS, you were trying to read the article. Shall we continue?
He's waiting for it.
Change your apartments, change the world.
He's looking for an Oscar
bait. If
bait.
any of you remember that commercial, you're awesome.
I do.
Jurassic Park.
Let's call it a tie.
Jurassic Park is a well-loved classic with multiple sequels telling the story of when science goes a little too far in bringing back the dinosaurs. An isolated island becomes the center of efforts to both revive ancient beasts and make an amusement park out of it. It's incredibly risky, and the events that unfold throughout the movie solidify this notion. The dinosaurs break loose, and it's a race for survival for all humans to get off the island ASAP. Mind you, the dinosaurs wouldn't have broken out if Nedry hadn't succumbed to greed. Just saying. It's the warning... Yeah, damn it, Nedry. It's the warnings of Dr. Malcolm from this movie that really stick. He insightfully notes to the mogul owner of the venture that your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should. a pause for thought that sums up the whole movie pretty well. I can't really add anything to what Kaiju said. I mean, it's
Most
not
of the time.
it's not something I've caught myself saying too often, but it's one of those, as he said, you can apply it to most situations where people go in, probably with sincere intentions, but don't tend to look at the bigger picture if they do go through with it. Make of that.
Kind of like
And,
Hollywood.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up. It's like this is a thing that I've seen people mention all the time, especially when it comes to like unnecessary reboots, remakes, and sequels.
The Mummy 2017. I actually watched that again recently because I was bored one morning and I wanted something to put me to sleep.
And you want to be even more bored?
The idea was to bore myself so bad it would actually put me to sleep, and the only thing I can give that movie is reasonably good cinematography, and the acting is fine, but the movie itself is one of those. If I had a freebie ticket, it'd be like, shall I use it for that? No, I'll save it for something better.
I still keep the Blu-ray around as like a nice little like oddity of the history of Power Rangers.
I will say this for the Power Rangers reboot: it was better than Turbo.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Anything's better than Turbo.
Yeah.
If anything, okay. The way I see it with all three of these live action of these Power Rangers movies, the first one I thought it was cheesy, but I can go back and watch it anytime.
It's charming.
Turbo, what to me, especially watching freaking the Double Toast review, that shit is mad cringe.
It is.
Also, okay, I know it's Power Rangers, but how? How do you do a spin kick and then you fall
How
so
did
fast?
that happen?
What the fuck?
It's like he was It was like he was self-eliminating himself from the Royal Rumble. It was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Studying Sin Cara?
You see, Araki was so preoccupied with whether or not he could, he didn't stop to think if he should.
I understand that the actor wanted to get away from Power Rangers for a bit, but the way they wrote him out was like, wow.
That was just mean.
Dude. But on the brighter side, at least he got a redemption in that Power Rangers. Was it a Ninja Steel?
I believe
Ninja
it was.
Steel, yeah. The 25th anniversary.
Okay, that's good. And also for the
It only
next
took him
Power
20
Rangers
years.
Right.
Well, he would have been there for Forever Red, but because he was moving office at the time, he didn't have his contact details updated.
Oh.
Yeah. So we would have technically had 11 Red Rangers for Forever Red. Technically.
Like, well, you see, you lost my number, guys.
And has to be said, he's aged really well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Fountain of youth. What I always say.
I mean, heck, even David Yost, when, they showed behind-the-scenes footage of filming Once and Always, David's aged well. And
I want to say from a distance, he looks like Jeremy Renner. I'm sorry, from a distance, he looks like him. Like, wait, is that Hawkeye? Oh no, it's just Billy.
and Walter, jeez, dude. I mean, he looks.
Damn, yeah.
He looks like he's.
Like don't crack.
Yeah.
He looks like he's borderlining between 29 to 33. I mean,
Yeah.
he looks, and I mean, I'm saying this, as is. He looks good. And same thing with Catherine. She's aged really well.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that Trini's going to be honoured. with her on-screen daughter in that. I'm like, that's a nice touch, guys. How they're going to address the Green Ranger?
Ooh, that's gonna be difficult.
I'm sure
Saban
is. I'm sure Saban is like really kicking themselves for not bringing back Jason David Frank. And even though Jason David Frank had gone on record to say that he himself was done with Power Rangers, I'm going to, from what I've heard, I've heard otherwise. That basically Saban, Hasbro this time around. Yeah, Hasbro Nickelodeon. They were not interested in bringing him back. So, more than likely, again, not to speak ill of the dead, but knowing the kind of person that Jason David was, it wouldn't surprise me if the whole "I'm retiring from Power Rangers" was simply a cover-up.
Yeah, I could tell from that.
Well,
So again, in hindsight, I'm sure Hasbro Nickelodeon are like, "What the fuck were we thinking?"
Yeah.
Money. Speaking of JDF,
Well,
I forgot about
now,
this.
I mean, let's be honest, okay? They could have, again, this is just cynical Hollywood, business mentality here. If you remember when freaking The Dark Knight came out, and why am I blanking on his name? The Joker, fucking
Heath Ledger.
Thank you very much, Heath Ledger. He passed away, and that sort of like boosted his role as the Joker. That boosted the sort of notoriety and the popularity of that movie. Say what you want about the movie itself, you can't deny that his death sort of like enhanced the popularity / notoriety of that movie as like, oh, this is the final film of this amazingly talented actor who was gone from us way too soon, taken away from us way too soon. So I could imagine that this would have been like a similar thing with Jason David Frank, where it's like, had he actually been a part of this, who knows, maybe he is and it's all secret. But had he been a part of this, then Hasbro could have easily have marketed it as the final appearance of the Green Ranger. Again, it's cynical, it's awful to use someone's death that way, but this is not the first time it's happened before.
No, that's fair.
It's true.
That's fair.
So again, this is why I'm saying this is why I'm saying that Hasbro Nickelodeon are probably kicking themselves right now for this lost opportunity.
And
Yes, because we're ghouls.
and I'm hoping they're not going to do something really tasteless like
Freaking Kevin Conroy, when he passed
Oh,
away,
yeah.
what did Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League do? They had a trailer promoting it as the final performance of Kevin Conroy. Again, this shit happens all the time, and it works because people got emotional and started saying, "Oh, I wasn't gonna buy Suicide Squad, but because it's the final performance of my favorite Batman, I'm gonna go support it now."
Hey, I
It's
was
the
just gonna buy
truth.
it. It is the truth, but I actually
Whether
was
or
gonna
not
buy
you
it.
can handle it.
There we go.
I'm just hoping they're not going to do something tasteless like whoever is playing the Green Ranger. I'm hoping they're not going to digitally add JDF in over whoever it may be, because that's
Oh, not fucking cool, man. No.
They're gonna pull a fucking Rise of Skywalker, trying to use like archival footage of Jason David Frank like they did with Carrie Fisher. And he's just gonna say like very like how would he say it? He's just gonna say like very weird, bizarre, out of context phrases that can be applied to any generic conversation. You just have to believe. It's never that easy.
although
They're gonna be one-word sentences. Watch.
I
although
don't think they would do that.
Holy shit! They're gonna like Yeah, or more than likely because they don't have the money to do that. But imagine if they got the money as like the Mandalorian when they brought CG Luke Skywalker back and used like an AI to generate his voice.
Oh yeah, because they totally couldn't have put Sebastian Stan in there, because again, he doesn't look like young Mark Hamill. Come on, shut up! Don't convince me that. No.
To be fair,
Also, in terms of like movies that got more popular after an actor's passing, The Crow.
Yes. I will give it that. Yes.
to be fair, this is not the first.
The Crow's a great movie. It's a fantastic movie. Don't get me wrong, but would it be as popular as it was had it not been for the tragic fate of Brandon Lee?
You are not wrong.
I don't know. I'm wrong with that.
To be fair,
To be honest with you, Brandon Lee didn't really have that much of a prolific career like his father did.
Exactly.
to be fair, this is not the first time they've digitally added in an actor for Power Rangers, because in Forever Red, the actor who played Leo was digitally added in because apparently he had disputes with the producers again. Because if you notice in the team up with Lost Galaxy and Lightspeed Rescue, note when they go to the Sentai footage, they had someone else dub in Leo's lines, because you can tell very clearly it's not the same actor, because apparently he walked off the set one day.
Really? I did not know that.
Because I noticed, like I say, there was something off with that, and it's the same thing you notice towards maybe midway through season 2 of Mighty Morphin. Notice that they would purposely not have so many close-up shots of the actors who were portraying Jason, Zach, and Trini, but would use archive footage of Austin, Twee, and Walter. And also notice in, essentially the changing of the guard, when they would bring in Rocky, Adam, and Aisha, when they're filming Trini from behind, you can hear very clearly it's not Twee, but then cut to the front, and it's archive footage from the Island episode. Or, I think it might have been footage from the Mutiny where she says there has to be another way. So it's not the first time they've done this, because then you hear the voiceovers whenever they're in the suit, and it's just like, wait a minute, it's like Austin doesn't. I know sometimes Austin would maybe over exaggerate some of his fighting kias and what have you, but when you could tell they walked off the set, it's like, wait a minute, something sounds really off with this. And of course, we know years later, those 3 principal actors walked off the set when they were only getting paid, and now actually had it corrected, only $600 per episode. And as I've stated before, I do not condone the unprofessional conduct of why they did it, but I understand why they did it, because, and this is the thing with Saban, he doesn't understand, they've got bills to pay, they've got lives to lead, and $600 per episode.
I'm sure he understands that. He just doesn't care.
Exactly.
Yeah, that reminded me. Yeah, I remember there was a marathon on Team Nick, and I remember during the scenes you only saw Kimberly, Billy, and Tommy. Then I remember before they morphed, you do see the backs of Jason, Zach, and Trini. I'm like, yo, what is going on? Because those are the only principal actors you see. So I could definitely see something wrong about that. Also, if it was up to me when it comes to that reunion show, I would definitely combine elements within the Boom Studios and have someone unknown play as Green Ranger and have him be revealed as Matt.
Oh, I would be down for that. Yeah.
Well, as we all know, originally JDF wasn't slated to return as the White Ranger. They were actually going to get the actor who played Ryan from VR Troopers to be the White Ranger.
Oh.
But because of how popular JDF was as the Green Ranger, they said, let's bring him in as the White Ranger.
But what about Richie? I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding. Anybody gets that reference, I'll love you forever.
I remember. I remember.
Some are speculating, and I stress speculating, that it's either going to be Tommy's son playing the Green Ranger, and this is a rumor I've heard on The Wire. It could be JDF's real life young daughter as well, because she has actually said she has desire to be a Power Ranger, and yes, she wants to be the Green Ranger.
Well, it was established that that Tommy Oliver did have a son, and they have made comics about him in the future being a Power Ranger, specifically the Green Green SPD Ranger with the Dragon Shield.
I actually do like in some of the.
But then again, it's the comics. Who gives a fuck?
I do actually like in the anniversary specials. They actually brought the proper.
No. I'm just saying that, like, I love the comics. Don't get me wrong. I loved Soul of the Dragon. I've recommended it multiple times, but I'm just saying that when it comes to tie-in media, a lot of the time studios just ignore whatever's established in the comics, and whenever they're making the next movie or the next TV show, and just contradict whatever happens with Godzilla, happens with Transformers, happens with Star Trek, happens with everything.
Yeah. And we've gone completely off topic.
What else is new?
Touche. It's like RDR.
Some things haven't changed.
It's like RDR. We'll talk about everything but wrestling. And at the moment, well, with the old man back in charge, you don't want to talk about it so much either. That much these days.
Please don't.
I don't want to talk about WWE so much. Kitsune, tear me away from Impact, because at least that makes sense. Then Kitsune slaps us like, we will not have that kind of language in this house.
No.
Batman.
Break out the coffee. A heavy coffee.
Let's compared to modern WWE, Batman and Robin makes sense.
Yeah, that's a phrase you can't take back. Okay.
Okay. Scientists were so preoccupied with this, I think they should. Yeah, like Aiju said, you can apply it to so many things today. I would probably apply it more with what took place in Jurassic Park, but I can understand it why it could be applied to so many other things. Like when I think it was either McDonald's or Burger King that one time, toyed with the idea of having like chicken drumsticks as part of their menu.
Mighty Wings.
Yeah.
Trust me, I remember those.
I mean, chicken nuggets is one thing, because chicken nuggets is like, like a side order. It's like hash browns. It's like, you can get away with that, but McDonald's core principal go-to are their burgers. I mean, can't really add anything to that. So 16. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. I would say yeah.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah, I'd say that.
That's something my mama used to tell me.
Okay, the fact that you do that too well is very disturbing, dude. Forrest Gump is a wonderfully wholesome movie starring none other than Tom Hanks. Yep, I agree. Wholesome.
Mm-hmm.
He's a simple man with a simple mind, but filled with nothing more than good intentions. Forrest lives an interesting life, from joining the army to fight in Vietnam to creating his own Bubba Gump shrimp business. A notable scene sees Forrest running from the bullies. As he breaks free of his leg brace, His childhood friend yells the line, "Run, Forrest, run." Run he does. In fact, later on in the movie, he amasses a huge following of admirers as he runs for over 3 years. More notable and touching scene, however, would be near the beginning of the movie as he recollects his mama's teachings. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. It's a simplistic line, yet sets the scene for the rest of the movie. Like I say, you can apply that to so many things because it can represent many different themes to whether it's in a movie or in real life. Because yeah,
I'm gonna say I would say that number 17 I'd say is more widely used and is more popular than number 16. Number 16 does make a lot of sense, but I feel like it's too limited in terms of where you can apply it, because when it says, it's right in the quote, life is like a box of chocolates, so it's talking about the subject of life, and now it can have so many surprises. So I think maybe if this was a thing where it's like you're telling, like for a mentor figure to tell a student figure to say, hey, prepare for, you know, anything, or, you know, you'll not, who knows what life has in store for you. Beyond that simple message, I personally don't think that there's as much use for this phrase, but and I just personally don't hear it quite as often as number 16 and other phrases, but it is one that is a very strong phrase, and I do think that this is a phrase that has managed to stay in the public consciousness well after Forrest Gump's release.
Yeah. In a way, it kind of replaces when life hands you lemons, you make lemonade.
Make lemonade.
yeah.
Well, that's because chocolate is sweeter.
Touche.
Damn it, Steve.
You know what I do love? Have any of you ever been to any of the bubblegum shrimp restaurants?
Can't say that I have.
No.
No, I
Do you
have
guys
not.
know that they're a thing?
No.
I didn't even know they were a thing, actually.
Okay, go on Google right this second and Google like bubblegum shrimp locations. Most of the time, you'll find them like outside of any Universal Studios.
Oh shoot!
So-
It is an actual company.
It is a thing that was
Holy
made, and
shnikes.
it's
Whoa.
maybe it's because I'm probably the only one who lives the closest to a Universal Studios. But I've been there a few times. I've even been to the one in Universal Studios Japan. It's filled, you know, the whole restaurant is filled with memorabilia from Forrest Gump,
Yeah,
including a big map of a big map of the U.S. detailing Forrest's what do you call it, trek across the country. But what I do love is that there's actually like Forrest Gump boxes of chocolate sold in the gift shop.
Oh my god.
Also depends what type of chocolates are in the box.
Yes.
Not bad. That's pretty good. Oh yes, this one has
my
definitely
God.
stayed relevant. Number 15. Alrighty then.
I say that all the time.
Yes.
Ace Ventura. Oh, absolutely.
movie.
Still so modern, you can apply that to anything. Ace Ventura is a top-notch pet detective based in the bustling city of Miami, hilariously portrayed by the comedic actor Jim Carrey. It's truly a memorable comedy, and it's just a lot of fun. There are one or two things that are kind of dated, particularly something Kaiju pointed out where it's a little bit phobic in some areas.
A little.
No need to fucking sugarcoat it. All right, the ending is pretty transphobic.
Yeah, it is. You're not wrong.
Let's just rip the Band-Aid right off.
Yeah.
In the 90s, you could do that. Today, it's like, no, don't even write that.
Nope.
No.
Don't even
It
write
was a
that.
very different time, very different sensibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ace is a specialist in retrieving missing animals, and in the movie, he's tasked with solving the case of the abducted dolphin mascot of the football team. Was it Snowball or Snowflake that was the dolphin?
I think it was Snowflake. Yeah.
It says so in the article.
Oh, it does actually. Oh, fair point. The events that follow are elaborately excessive and filled with misadventures with the completely wacky Peck detective at the helm. He's initially seen as a complete laughingstock at the Miami-Dade Police Department. I hope I pronounced that correctly. However, he eventually earns their respect after rescuing Snowflake the dolphin mascot. Alrighty then is the iconic franchise stemming from the movie, and it's delivered brilliantly each time by Jim Carrey, who took this role and really ran with it. Here's another line they don't really talk about. Warning, assholes are closer than they appear! But for obvious reasons, they can't put that in this article because, not safe for work. But I would say both those have pretty much stayed relevant, but for PG reasons, this one probably would get talked about more. So, oh yeah, totally agree that you can use this in anything. I know during the making of Sonic, they would actually have. I'm blanking on his name here a minute. The one who actually voiced Sonic.
Ben Schwartz.
Thank you.
Like which one?
Very good. He would.
Urkel?
Well, that would have been awesome. He actually he voiced Sonic during the making of it, where he would be going around making Jim Carrey quotes saying, "Somebody stop me," until somebody actually told me to stop it.
You did ask for it, technically.
Alrighty then.
So, yeah, I can't add anything to that. I mean, you can use that phrase whether it's family comedy or Ace Ventura, which is partial family comedy, but also a little bit tongue-in-cheek comedy. Yeah, well, it was a 12 at the time when it was released in the UK, so that'd be, what, PG-13 for you guys?
Yeah.
And it's one of the and it started this trend of movies wanting to see Jim Carrey in his birthday suit.
Oh God, that's the no.
Why?
No.
I mean, hey, if it worked for Mike Myers.
Ugh.
You know what?
Please,
That's
no.
fair.
Again, it was the 90s, different sensibilities.
Right?
And,
Oh yeah.
and of course, the sequel where you see Jim Carrey exit out of the back of a fake
God.
rhino.
Oh look, the mother rhino is giving birth. Mommy.
What you just said. What you just said.
I remember when I saw the TV cut, they completely removed the part of him exiting the rhino itself.
Just as
my
wow.
God.
Just as wow.
No, I have that movie permanently burned into my brain as a kid, and it's still there.
Oh dear. So yeah, anyone want to add anything to already then, or have we pretty much covered it?
I think we pretty much
Covered.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say, like, for me, it's not a phrase that I use personally, and I don't think this is one that's used by younger people. I would say this is definitely people who grew up during the height, the peak of Jim Carrey's popularity. Like, during the 90s and 2000s, he was a megastar.
Yes.
Like, he was just, it was The Mask, Ace Ventura, Bruce Almighty, Batman Forever. He was just everywhere, and of course everyone loved him. And since then he's tried moving away from that. He's done more serious roles like I Love You, Philip Morris. Occasionally, every now and then, he may go back to that original routine, wacky, over the top routine with, like, Yes, I think it was called Yes Man or
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then of
Yes,
course there's
Yes
Sonic. Of course, there's the Sonic the Hedgehog movies, which pretty much, like, brought back classic Jim Carrey, where he hasn't lost a beat. So I'm sure with his performance as Eggman, he has potentially introduced a new generation to look back at his earlier movies. Oh yeah, by the way, I forgot to mention the Truman Show. Great, another interestingly,
Yeah.
a serious movie for a movie made during like the height of his more sillier comedies. But I would say, yeah, this is definitely a product of the 90s, and is pretty much, I would say, is used by people who grew up during that era of Jim Carrey's career in the 90s. So yeah, I'd say it's very big for us, not so big for anyone like born after 2000.
Fair enough. Hakuna Matata, the original Lion King. The Lion King comes from what is considered the Renaissance era of Disney, is without a doubt one of the best Disney movies ever made. Fully agree. After his uncle Scar kills his father, Simba runs away from home and bumps into the dynamic duo, Timon and Pumbaa. I think Timon is spelt without an E, I think.
Yeah.
Scar rules the Pride Lands ruthlessly while Simba grows up with his two friends, feasting on bugs and enjoying the easy life. Timon and Pumbaa teach the young lion cub one of their main philosophies early on, Hakuna Matata, which in Swahili, it means no worries. And the trio live out the years that follow with this motto in mind. However, when Simba's past catches up with him, he has to decide whether to remain an outcast and live the easy life, or confront his murderous uncle and take his rightful place as king.
I can't remember a single time anyone has ever used Hakuna Matata outside of referencing the Disney movie.
I'd have to agree with that.
There's one episode I remember it being used on in Pinky and the Brain. It's when Brain and Pinky end up stranded in the jungle, and it's this little rebuttal. Pinky goes, "Two little words that will make it all better. Hakuna Matata." If I
Silence,
hurt
Pinky.
you,
This is not a
If
Disney cartoon.
actually, Brain just goes, "If I hurt you now, no one would ever know." I might. That's debatable.
Brilliant.
I've caught my brother saying it once or twice in like just casual conversation, but I think on this one, half and half. It's a recognized line, but I don't think it's something you hear in everyday conversation.
No, like hardcore, like anyone would definitely know immediately what it is. It's super recognizable. The Lion King is easily one of like the highest grossing animated films of all time, and I can't imagine anyone of any generation would not know what that is. But yeah, in terms of like everyday usage, I'm gonna say no on that.
Yeah, I have to agree. Considering the fact that I grew up having this movie on VHS, because during a move we only had 2 movies to watch on VHS. This one and Tombstone. Guess which ones were burned into my brain? I'll give you a hint with both of them. And also, spoilers for this list. Why isn't I'll Be Your Huckleberry not on this list? Why isn't this on this list?
I don't know.
I have 2 guns, one for each of you.
Get Busy Living or Get Busy Dying, The Shawshank Redemption.
Mileage may vary on that.
I'll say this one's
Yeah.
wildly used.
Because
I mean, especially if you want to do a Morgan Freeman impersonation, this is the line you try to go to. Either
Yeah.
get busy living or get busy dying.
wasn't
That is how the Morgan do.
wasn't that the title of 50 Cent's movie?
No, Get Rich or Die Trying.
Beg your pardon. Shawshank Redemption is based on a novel by Stephen King, so you know it's got some high quality writing behind it, and it's probably one of the very few novels where it's not a horror story.
The Green Mile's also another one.
Yeah. Andy Dufresne is sentenced to life in prison for a crime he didn't commit. Throughout the decades that follow, he befriends fellow inmates and creates
Stand By Me, that's another one.
That's another one.
Creates
Yeah.
genuine bonds on the inside. Get busy living or get busy dying is a classic quote from the movie that reflects the lives of the inmates and is a to-the-point, insightful comment to just make the most of your life. Andy's sheer motivation to keep going is highly beautifully created when he states, "Hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies." Consequently, Andy's determination does eventually see him escaping the prison and is later reunited with good friend Alice. brilliantly bringing his story full circle. Probably not too many people born in the last 15 to 20 years are probably aware of this movie, but those that grew up in the 90s and the 2000s are probably aware of it. And it's one of those movies, didn't do so great theatrically, but on home release it created a life onto itself. I've not personally used this in casual conversation, but I could see why, based on the context of where the line comes from, I could see why it would be used by others. So on that one, I'm kind of half and half. Anyone else?
Yeah, same. Yeah, same. It's like, again, it's not something I quote regularly. I recognize it, but it's not something I quote on a regular basis.
Right, I think this might be another Hakuna Matata situation, though.
Yeah.
With more specific of an audience than the general audience of Lion King.
Yeah. What about you, Raiden? You kind of 50-50 with that?
Half and half, yeah.
Fair enough. To Infinity and Beyond, Toy Story 95.
Ah, okay.
Toy Story shines a light on the private life of toys when no one's looking, and a nod to the Pixar lamp. Woody has it great, a loving owner and a bunch of great friends. However, one day there's a new toy on the block and his world completely turns on its head. Buzz Lightyear, the confident yet oblivious space ranger, arrives to stir things up, kind of like Hulk Hogan on a regular day. He brings with him the infamous To Infinity Beyond... Wait a minute, Buzz Hogan? Actually, no, let's not.
No.
Which he says with such convincing gusto. I will give Tim Allen there. He does actually do that line justice. He's deluded to believe himself a real space ranger, not to be confused with Power Rangers in space, and refuses to accept that he is indeed just a toy. Woody finds himself consumed with jealousy and tries to get rid of Buzz. However, he soon finds himself on a mission to save Buzz and bring him back to the flock before the humans move house, and he's lost forever. I think with that one, that's another 50-50. If you're talking about Toy Story, everyone knows that line, but in everyday conversation, not so much.
Yeah, same.
I would say, like, maybe the only time I've ever said To Infinity is Beyond was whenever, like, I would go on a roller coaster and I would shout that shortly before the roller coaster takes that dive off that steep climb. But again, I was a little kid who, like, watched Toy Story religiously almost every week.
I was more praying to God, please don't kill me on this roller coaster, please.
No, see, for me, To Infinity and Beyond, that's like my declaration of, like, bring it on, fuckers.
That's a pretty good moniker to have.
YOLO, bitches!
Yeah, To Infinity and Beyond was my YOLO back when I was a child.
And it's actually one of the very few CG movies from the 90s where the CG's actually held up.
Just don't look at any of the human characters or the dog.
That is just the thing. CG has yet to replicate human features convincingly to the point where you're questioning, hang on, is that real or is that CG? Now, to be fair, and as I've said this before,
no, with we know deepfake technology, being more popular, getting more and more popular, I'd say it's getting frighteningly close to reality.
I mean, the work that they did on Terminator Genesis by having Arnold's likeness from 84 superimposed, alright, it's not perfect, but compared to what they did in damn it, I'm blanking on the fourth movie.
Salvation.
Thank you. And then also the awful CG work that they did for Patrick Stewart on X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh, and he had hair.
Yeah, but surprisingly, they did really good CG work on, recreating RDJ's likeness of a 21-year-old Tony Stark in Captain America 3, because you had to have like a real trained eye to be able to tell if it was CG or not, but that one was a lot closer than what we've seen previously. But Toy Story as itself, I think when you look at it and keep in mind that it's going with a cartoony approach, you look at the fact that the vehicles and the buildings have more of a luminescent look to them. That's probably why it still holds up. But as Kaiju said, just humans and the dog, no, not so much. Especially Sid. I mean, sorry, that CG's nightmare fuel.
Yeah, I know.
In that case, it does work for him.
I guess so. So again, like I say, I think that's another 50-50 situation. Recognizable, but not something I would say in everyday conversation. Okay. Number 11. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Okay.
I've seen people reference it, like in one of the DBZ abridged movies, but definitely I've never heard this phrase in like conversations. Maybe as like a joke, you say it to one of your friends, but it's like, God. I don't know. This is maybe you got like an overweight friend, and you're like, that'll do, pig. Or maybe it's like if you got like a really short friend, you'll be like, that'll do, pig. That'll do.
No,
I don't know.
I've only heard it once, and that's in Family Guy, and that's when Peter said that to Meg. It's like,
oh.
The last time I heard that line was
you have to treat Meg like a joke every single time.
That's really getting old.
Yeah.
The last time I heard that line was in a Johnny Bravo episode.
I think the only other time I've ever heard that line outside of the movie was in the South Park episode where they tried to crossbreed Kyle's elephant with Cartman's pig.
Oh, I remember watching that episode.
Oh dear Lord!
And it ends up with the face of
trying to get that elephant drunk.
And it ends up with the face of Mr. Garrison, and I'm like, I have several questions.
I have no questions. I don't want to ask.
No.
You know what I mean, though. You know what I mean. It's just like how, why, and why. But I'm not even gonna go further with that. Yeah.
That is all.
Yeah. And of course,
that was early South Park too.
Yeah, with Chef sharing one of the very first few collaborations, quotations, with Elton John, because the only other time Elton John was brought in was for the episode and the album Chef Aid. I'm not gonna lie, Wake Up Wendy's actually not a bad song. But again, like I say, I recognize the line, but not something you see in everyday conversation. And because how many Babe movies did they do? I think there's like just 2.
Just one.
No, because it wasn't there. Babe, Pig in the City.
Yeah.
There were two movies.
Yeah.
And I'm blanking on her name at the moment, but the voice of Babe was also the voice of Chucky from Rugrats.
Oh!
Christine Cavanaugh.
Yeah.
And also the voice of Bunny Rabbit from Satam.
Cool.
Also, if I remember correctly, was the voice of Dexter? Original Dexter?
Yes. If they ever do a new series of Dexter, whoever voices the character is like, you got some big shoes to fill. because she did that role justice. Including that one episode that finally made it to the light of day, the bleep episode.
Rude removal.
Rude removal.
Yeah.
Here.
It's up there with the SpongeBob SquarePants episode where every implied swear word was,
A dolphin sound.
Oh god. Oh god.
Me and a friend of mine were in tears over that episode. It's like we are two grown ass men laughing at a SpongeBob episode. Oh dear. Oh, number 10.
We're telling your mother on you.
Oh, number 10. Easily, you could easily use this in any situation. Houston, we have a problem.
Yes, this is one I feel like
Yes.
everyone uses.
And Tom Hanks delivered that line brilliantly.
I think I remember like one of my favorite parodies was like there was a moment where it was in Fairly Odd Parents where like an astronaut sees Timmy Turner like flying off in space and he's like, Houston, we have a problem. And like the guy who's in charge of the Houston NASA base is like, it's always a problem. Why can't you guys ever call just to say hi?
Oh yeah, I like that line.
Oh dear. Oh, absolutely. Iconic line, and yeah, you can use that in any situation. Doesn't have to be referencing Apollo 13. I mean, it helps, but even people that haven't seen this movie know that line straight away. Okay. Oh. Ernest Hemingway once wrote, "The world is a fine place and we're fighting for." I agree with the second part. I'm not too familiar with Seven. I know from what I hear, it's a really good movie. But that's not a line I'm easily recognizable with, so that one...
The only thing I remember from that movie is, what's in the box?
In the fucking box!
What's in the fucking box?
Oh jeez.
Because isn't Morgan Freeman part of that movie as well?
Yes,
Yeah,
he's
one
in
of
that
them.
movie. Yeah.
Because he's like the retiring detective, isn't he?
Ah, yeah. You're too old for this shit.
No, that's Danny Glover.
Oh,
Yeah,
I know.
that's it.
I know.
Well, that is a phrase that I'm surprised is not here yet. That's a phrase that a lot of people. That's a phrase everyone uses.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think that might be more of an 80s quote, if anything.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. That's
yeah,
right. Yeah. Or
Yeah,
damn, I
I
was
get
2 days
some.
from retirement.
Ah! It was his first day and he was 2 weeks away from retirement.
I've already spoiled this, but like, why isn't you got knocked off scout on here?
Yeah?
Wait a
Maybe
minute, why
because
isn't that on here?
most likely because of the profanity.
Yeah.
I guess, but like,
And I'm guessing MovieWeb is going for that general BuzzFeed like audience.
I guess.
Yeah, but for number 9, I'm gonna say like it's a great line, but I'm gonna say I've never heard anyone
No.
use number 9.
Yeah,
No.
no.
Kind of like how people don't use Mighty at number 9.
I see what you did there.
And there goes the dynamite.
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom. Great line, but not everyday conversation.
Right,
No.
right.
No.
That's
I
honestly, I think that's used for parody stuff.
Yeah.
Right, right, yeah.
no. Honestly, the only thing you'd hear is if you'd hear it if you're at a bar, but the only thing you'd hear is freedom. It's like why?
Yeah, I think nowadays, like, if anyone wants to like make like a battle cry of some sort, it has since been replaced by Leroy Jenkins. reference, and even then it's like a dated reference at this point.
The fact that that line made it into an episode of Moonlight where the character actually starts charging for the ambulance and you go, Leroy Jenkins! And I'm like, okay, I know it's 2008, but what the hell?
Well, a couple of years
That's the thing.
back,
It was 2008. It was the meme of the year at that point.
well, even Daffy Duck a couple of years ago in one of the Looney Tunes cartoons actually used Leroy Jenkins.
For real?
Oh.
Wow.
Later, I'll
Now
find
I'm
a
curious.
clip to share with you.
Now I'm curious if there's any memes from the 2000s that still persist to this day.
The Rick roll.
Oh God!
Yeah,
yes.
like they actually, Rick Astley actually has like recreated that music video for like an insurance commercial.
My God.
Have you guys seen it? It's all over Facebook.
I'll have a look in a
I
bit.
I
haven't,
think I've
but
seen it once.
Let me find it. I'll save it for after we're done here.
Oh.
And I think I found the clip in question.
Oh.
So yeah, recognizable line, but I've never used it personally for, you know, in a conversation, whether it be comedic or serious. So yeah.
I can't hold you. The last time I heard of it was in Turkey language during the episode Starving Marvin, South Park.
Ah.
Oh no.
And there's the clip if anybody's interested.
Okay. Number 7, Show Me the Money. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Show me the money.
Oh, little trivia fact: in the Spider-Man 2 movie video game, there you do actually hear Tobey Maguire when he's teaming up with Black Cat, whilst they're stopping an art theft. Show me the Monet. So, yeah, I'm gonna say 100% agree. People know the movie it comes from, but it's a line that you'll hear someone say if they're like, "Hey, show me the money."
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So-
for sure, yeah. This is an easily applicable. Unlike the last 3 quotes we looked at, this is another easily applicable quote here that I've heard people
Yeah.
use even long before I even knew where it came from.
Oh yeah. Number 6. Do you like scary movies?
Yeah,
No.
kinda.
Maybe, but I've never heard anybody say it personally.
Yeah.
And especially with the, I feel like if anyone has to say this, they have to say it with the voice in order for people to get the reference.
Yeah.
And even then, it's not a phrase that people use all that often, and if it's not a phrase that people use, nor is it a phrase that like younger people would know. This is definitely for our generation.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
they recently put out they made a new a 5th Scream movie, so maybe
Yeah.
my comments could be dated. Maybe Scream is somehow now popular again with the kids these days. But in terms of horror movies, I don't know. It feels like Scream never had the. I know it's a really popular franchise, but I always tend to, whenever I look at discussions of horror movies from horror movie fans, it never seems to get the kind of recognition or respect as, say, as Evil Dead, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, or any of the other slasher movies. I feel like Scream was always like included out of obligation, but it was never. Or Child's Play, another slasher movie I'll add to the list. It's like Scream was always like considered like a bottom tier slasher film series. It's like the least popular slasher franchise, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense. So like,
Yeah.
I don't think it
Honestly,
has. Go ahead.
Honestly, I think the most memorable line is, "What's your favorite scary movie?"
Sure,
Yeah,
and
no.
that's kind of like very indicative of the franchise itself. It's not a movie that has any real originality to call its own. Its whole shtick is it's a horror movie that references other horror movies.
Yeah, and honestly, the one line is like that's stuck in my head. Is like, I want to play a game. Which, by the way, Jigsaw, they said it first, so fuck you.
Right, yeah, that's a really good phrase that I think I've heard people reference a million times.
Yeah, but a line in my head that's been like, I feel like should be a meme. It's like, I'm feeling a bit woozy here. I'm no Matthew Lillard, but there you go.
And also, has to be said, just going by the screenshot from there, Drew Barrymore has aged significantly well since that movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
She was an E.T., right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, she was only in this movie, like, right at the beginning.
Yeah, basically she was like... Yeah.
Go ahead. What
No, she
She
was
was the
basically...
poster, right?
Yeah, in a way she was basically like the Janet Leigh of her of the modern day.
I was about to make that reference too. Yeah, they pretty much
Yeah.
like pulled a bait and switch, thinking that making you think she was the main actress for this movie.
They did the
Which
same.
again,
Surprise!
another reference to a slasher horror movie.
They did the same.
Aha.
They did the same thing in the second movie. They had Sarah Michelle Gellar, as like top billing, and yet she's taken out in next to no time. It's just like, really, guys?
Hey, it worked in the first movie.
Touche. I'm gonna have to say with this one, 50-50 again. I know where it comes from, but I don't ever really say it that often. So yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah, you're more likely to hear people quoting "Now you're playing with power" over
Oh
this.
God, no!
Welcome to prime time, bitch.
Yeah, see, there we go. I quote that one more.
Number 5, how do you like them apples? Didn't know it came from this movie, but I have said this on many occasions.
This is super big. This is,
Yeah.
I'll give this 100% yes.
Because sometimes I'd say, trash talking to a buddy of mine on occasion. I'm like, yeah, how do you like them apples? So, yeah. And also, it's a movie I need to get around to watching because I've seen a few clips.
Same.
The exchange between Matt Damon and Robin Williams, that's some of the best acting I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
So well done. No, this is not a line I go and say very often. I want you to paint me like one of your French girls. I know where it comes from.
This is very popular in meme culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially JonTron. Paint me like one of your friends.
I'll say that for me, like I say, not aware of the meme culture before that, I'd have to say 50-50. Know where it comes from, but I wouldn't personally say it.
And there you go.
Yeah.
By the way, I previously posted a link to the official Forrest Gump box of chocolates.
Very nice. Very nice. Number 3, I See Dead People, Sixth Sense.
Kinda, yeah, but again, it's a little dated nowadays.
Yeah. No one's gonna be referencing Six again. Much like Hasta La Vista, if this was the 90s and early 2000s, everyone was saying it. But in the 2020s, fuck no.
No.
No one's referencing the Sixth Sense.
They are tweaking that shit around. It's like,
I mean,
I see dead people. Okay, Grandma, we know, we get the.
I mean, you're gonna be
reference.
seeing dead people pretty soon, Grandma. No!
wow.
That's a good one.
I think the best usage was when they parodied that in the first scary movie. It's like, can I tell you a secret? Yeah, I see dead people. Man, this shit is awesome. And the best parody use of the Budweiser "What's Up" commercial.
That's the one that no one, like 10 years younger than us, is gonna get.
Yeah.
I could tell you everywhere in 2000 we were all doing that. I mean, my buddy Pete would phone up on occasion like I'd see him phone up like, "Yo, what's up? What's up?"
Well, I guess for me, maybe it's because I was too young at the time. But like back then, back in my day, you didn't have a cellular phone. You had to use the family phone line, and that costed money. So no, my friends never did that over the phone because we couldn't afford to.
No. Anybody remember the Budweiser frogs? Good times.
I like how
I remember them.
I like how they kind of.
God, I'm showing my age right now. Oh God.
I like the parody moment in the Simpsons X-Files episode where you could hear Budweiser, Budweiser. Croc comes along, Coors. So yeah, I know where the line comes from, but I don't quote it.
Yeah.
Now this one, you can sort of apply this to other things, but just sort of reword it.
Yeah.
The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club. It's just like how I kind of.
We're breaking the first rule. Damn it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how in the Sonic retrospective where I said, "Okay, folks, we don't talk about Sonic Underground ever."
I think that line has been overshadowed at the moment because of Encanto, mainly due to we don't talk about Bruno.
Oh,
I think that's become the new version of that phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm kind of 55-45 with this one. Know where it comes from, but it's kind of been reworded over
Or
time.
it's been kind of like phased out as time goes on.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
So yeah, I'm sticking with 55-45 on that one because I do see people rewording it slightly just to suit whatever needs to be. Okay, this one.
I've never heard of this before.
I've
No.
never heard anybody say that.
I didn't even know this line existed because I've never actually seen Notting Hill all the way through.
Yeah, neither have I.
But then again, it was during it was during like Hugh Grant's heyday where, he was a big money earner.
Before I decided to pick somebody up for services.
Oh,
Is that why he split from Liz Hurley?
I believe so.
They actually lived outside. He lived in a small village outside of Bath once.
Ah.
Yeah. Like I say, I didn't even know this line existed. I don't ever see this line being used anywhere. And if I have heard it being used, I don't remember it.
I heard this line said before. It's probably in a parody movie or something where it's like, that's the case. Why would anybody say this for real?
Because fuck you, that's why, Lydia. And there he is all sitting across like, dude, for fuck's sake, if you're gonna impersonate me, do it right.
Motherfucker. I do not talk like that.
Oh God, he's turned into Chills. Run!
Is that what you've been doing while I was away? Trying to fill my role, you bastard. No, seriously, anytime any of my other online friends would impersonate me, that's how they do it. That's the Andres impression right there.
What, to make
you
it
end everything like a question?
Well, they're trying to make you.
Number 15.
They trying to.
Burger King foot lettuce.
What? They're purposely trying to make you sound like Microsoft Sam.
Apparently, that's what I sound like.
Oh my God.
I would have said I sound. Some people have said I sound like a combination of George Takei and who's it? Casey Kasem.
I'll say those two I would agree
I
with.
can hear that. I can hear that. Yeah.
This is Casey Kasem here, telling you to keep your feet on the ground and reach for the stars.
Oh my.
So, looking at this whole list right here, out of the 20 phrases, the 20 quotes that this article says, and I quote, find themselves wriggled into modern day conversations, I think only about 7 of these 20 are actually used in modern day conversations.
Oh yeah.
For me personally, I'm going to say, you can't handle the truth. Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should. Alrighty then. Let's see. Houston, we have a problem.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Show me the money.
Oh yeah.
And how do you like them apples?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
I guess I'll throw a bonus to Life's Like a Box of Chocolates.
Yeah. At
Yeah.
least that one.
It has to be.
All
u-
depends on the
That one's still
chocolate.
applicable outside the movie.
Yeah.
It has to be used in the right context, though.
Yeah, but not as much as the others I just mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I say, you could go and say, "How do you like them apples?" without ever having to have watched Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Probably got time for one more article, and this is going to please.
Wait, hold on. Before you show the article, can I at least show you the insurance commercial?
Oh.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so let me know when you're all at 0-0.
Oh no, we're gonna get DMCA'd.
Don't worry, we're on Twitch.
No one cares. Oh wait.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm at 0-0.
I'm gonna have to have it probably just as audio only because you know.
Okay. I will say that if you don't listen to the audio, you're gonna miss the great joke at the end.
Oh my god.
All right.
Okay, get
All right.
ready to press play in 3,
Hold on.
2, 1.
What? One sec. Gotta get.
How dare you?
I'll get it set up. I'm going to do this as a test, and hopefully Twitch don't come back and say, "Excuse me, Mr. Knight, we have found something that doesn't belong here." Oh,
There's people who like watch movies, who stream entire movies on Twitch. I don't think we're gonna get in trouble.
Daikaiju TV is well known for doing that.
Yeah.
Right.
okay, synced up.
I'm at 0.
3, 2, 1, play. He's aged well, to be fair to him.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Okay. His dancing's still as awkward as ever.
Actually, he was recently interviewed about the making of that music video, and they literally did not choreograph anything. He didn't do any prep. They didn't give him any preparation or any real budget whatsoever, really, for this. So he just made that stuff on the fly. Oh, here we
Oh
go.
my god.
Nice.
Do people still care
That is
about this
pretty
meme? Is this meme still relevant? What the fuck?
Gosh.
What if I told you memes never die?
And they
No.
do not.
What, was it like? What was it that from that that one line from The Sandlots?
The Sandlot.
I'll look for it right now because it's super relevant to what you just said.
Okay.
What was it? Heroes get remembered, but legends never die.
Ah.
Touche.
In fact, why the fuck wasn't that in? No, I think that was probably an '80s movie.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen a fucking meme of where it's that line, but it's applied to Harambe.
Ah,
Oh
God,
no,
Harambe.
no.
Interesting little bit.
Legends die, but legends never. Memes get remembered. Legends never die.
Ah, God.
What about legendary memes?
Ah, legendary me.
Interesting little bit of trivia. When they were doing the postal votes for the last presidential election, apparently one of the names that people would write in was Harambe.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
God.
I know that. Remember during the
Harambe.
2016 election where everyone was voting for D's nuts?
Ah.
On a lighter note, during the 2020 election, one of the names that was put in the postal votes was Stone Cold Steve Austin.
What?
Yep.
Why not The Rock?
Son of a bitch.
Oh, God, is The Rock president?
Can you
Who
imagine?
knows what The Rock is cooking?
Can you imagine his winning speech? He would probably actually open up with his Titantron theme.
Oh, God. Giving him ideas, MJ. Don't do this.
I can imagine him at the presidential debate. Shut up, bitch!
Like I say, this next article is going to please Madam President.
It's like,
I've seen it on the screen.
Is Sailor Moon the most powerful anime character?
Yeah.
Depends on
Can she beat Goku?
Yeah.
No,
Absolutely.
She probably could, actually.
Another name came to mind.
Sailor Moon is one of the most popular shoujo anime heroines of all time. The original Sailor Moon cartoon aired in the 90s, and since then there have been sequels, films, remakes, adding to a total of 7 series starring Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon is best known for popularizing the magical girl trope so beloved in anime. Magical girls have pretty costumes, alter egos, dramatic transformations, and most importantly, amazing special magical powers.
I will say, we wouldn't have Sailor Moon if it wasn't for Cutie Honey. Let's not forget her.
You're not wrong there.
There's no doubt that Sailor Moon reigns supreme among the magical girls, and she has powers that have allowed her to save the whole galaxy time and again, but is she the most powerful anime character of all time? Sailor Moon's magical range of powers. Sailor Moon tells the story of a lovable schoolgirl named Usagi as she learns that she has a secret identity.
Usagi.
Excuse me.
Usagi, yeah.
She's joined by her friends, the Sailor Scouts, and fights evil using an impressive arsenal of magical powers. Her magical tiara can dish out some flashy attacks like Moon Twilight Flash and Moon Tiara action, which you'll recognize as the move that transforms the tiara into a disc of energy. Kind of similar to Wonder Woman's tiara, it sounds like. Might have been inspired by that. The Kaleidomoon Scope is a blast of rainbow energy that fades the enemy or shatters them into pieces. The most famous and most devastating is probably the Moon Spiral Heart Attack, executed with the Spiral Heart Moon Rod. Combine these powers with the fact that Sailor Moon can transform into new and more powerful forms, along with her ability to combine powers with other Sailor Scouts. There's no doubt that Usagi is a powerhouse.
Usagi.
Usagi.
There's no U.
It's clear.
No Y sound.
It's clear that Sailor Moon has some prodigious powers. Okay, or prodigious. I don't know. But is the most powerful anime fighter out there? To judge that, we'll have to imagine how battles with other contenders to go. To judge, we'll rank the fighter's most powerful abilities as well as their willpower, courage, and determination, and oddly enough, Goku is mentioned.
Of course he is.
What about Saitama?
Yeah, what about Saitama?
Goku is a classic character with history just as iconic as Sailor Moon's. As the star of the Dragon Ball series, Goku has proven he has what it takes to defend the Earth and take on a galaxy of alien threats. Some of Goku's best moves include the Spirit Bomb, the Kamehameha, and his Super Saiyan transformation, and now Super Saiyan God or Super Saiyan Blue, depending on your preference, that pushes powers beyond the limits of imagination, except against Superman. In a physical fight, there's no doubt this seasoned martial artist would defeat Sailor Moon. But in a fight where they can use the full range of powers, they're quite evenly matched. After all, Sailor Moon can transform just like Goku. Her final form, Sailor Cosmos, can bend space, time, and reality itself. She is pretty much a god. Goku is no stranger to fighting and even defeating gods, but could he beat Sailor Moon in her final form? Sailor Cosmos, this one might be too close to call. Sailor Moon versus All Might. All Might at his peak strength is probably the most powerful fighter in My Hero Academia. In a universe where characters are powered by quirks, All Might's quirks might stand out from the rest. The infamous One for All is an inherited quirk that can be passed to a new user and brings the talents of previous heroes with it. These gifts include strength, transmission, smokescreen, and flight. Usagi's powers are pretty comparable to All Might. Most importantly, the two have really similar values. They love peace, justice, and protecting others. They're willing to do anything for their friends. We actually have a hard time as to how these two would manage to battle each other for long and might bow out of the fight due to mutual respect. Sailor Moon versus Naruto.
I don't know.
She whooping his ass.
Yep.
Sailor Moon and Naruto have a lot in common. They're both blonde, goofy, loyal, and kind-hearted. They're also extremely powerful. As a ninja with the power of a nine-tailed fox sealed within him, Naruto can unleash some deadly jutsus. Okay.
Jutsu.
Thank you.
Jutsu.
Naruto has canonically destroyed the moon. But did he do it before Piccolo?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
This could really present a problem for Usagi in a battle. Naruto is fierce and above all determined, but we all know he has a weakness for cute girls. So do most guys. And he's very
Naruto?
Oh no! Oh no!
Usagi might be able to use that to her advantage to pull a sneak attack on Naruto. And if that fails, she can use her powers as Sailor Cosmos to turn back time and alter reality. Are we delving into Superman 1 levels again? We think it's like...
If she could turn back time, do.
You know somewhere on the internet someone's making a deep fake or a fake anime of her singing that on stage.
Oh, I would not be surprised.
We think Sailor Moon is in for a tough battle with Naruto, but she can ultimately pull out a win. Sailor Moon versus herself?
Huh?
Okay.
It's like the meme. Don't trust anyone, not even yourself.
In the end, we think Sailor Moon could defeat these great heroes of other anime. Her biggest threat might be herself. At the beginning of this series, Usagi really lacked confidence. To be fair, I do actually remember Liz saying that a while back. She was a little bit like, I don't not want to say like had an anxiety about it, but she definitely was not sure of herself.
Yeah.
She avoided violence, monsters, and fights. Usagi cried easily and didn't want to embrace her Sailor Moon side, but ultimately Sailor Moon won out, and Usagi grew and matured into the all-powerful heroine she was always meant to be. Because Sailor Moon is her own biggest competitor, this might actually mean she really is the most powerful anime character of all time. Not really huge on Sailor Moon lore and the backstory of the character. I can't really give an opinion. I mean, I know that she's beloved. I know that, a lot of people cosplay as her, including... if you ever watch the reaction channel, Dwayne and Jasmine, apparently he lost a bet one time and he actually did a reaction video where he's actually wearing the costume and the wig, and I'm like, okay, bro, major respect for having...
I think I've seen that. Oh my god.
Don't get me wrong.
Oh, no.
I'll give him style points for having the guts to do that. It'd be like, MJ, absolutely not. What about me? No, we are not having this conversation.
Do it, goddammit. Yes, do it.
Oni, think of it this way. You'll actually have hair for a change. I hate you.
Oh god, I think his baldness is so strong that even he wouldn't have hair. I'm sorry, he wouldn't.
There is one thing I will like to ask about this article.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Saitama?
Yeah.
Thank you, where is he?
And where's Lena Inverse?
Indeed.
She'd have a little trouble with Lena. She'd still lose, but still.
Especially especially if the two following things are messed with regards to Lena. You mess with her food, and you bring up the fact that she's not so well developed in one area. She goes,
Yes.
she goes into beast mode.
Yes. I've seen clips.
Yeah, I mean, Pakota found this out the hard way. I think in like first or second episode of season 4, because she conjures up a magical amplification spell before applying that to the Dragon Slave and nukes about 4 to 5 square miles of land development. It's just like, it's like, you called her Flatty, didn't you? It's like, yeah, it's like, you deserve that. Full props to Lisa Ortiz for just going full ham, with her vocal range for that. But she's good at what she does. Lids, would you agree with that article?
Honestly, she can kick anybody's ass. It's just, again, the thing about that is she's usually going to try to find a different way to solve the problem than just like going guns blazing. If it's a monster, then she's going to put people in front of her so that she doesn't have to, like, because basically she's the last resort. If basically she's the last attack that's going to finish out the monster or the bad guy or whatnot. But again, she's if you've seen her in the anime, she's usually trying to duck out of the way and almost falling flat on her face because, yeah, she doesn't like conflict because, again, she's a bit of a crybaby. But that does change over time, which I understand. That's, again, you got to evolve as a character. You can't stay the one character all the time. I'm looking at you, Rey from Star Wars.
Don't get me started on her.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, again, power, as to quote DBZA, power levels are bullshit. So it's like, let's look at it that way.
Yeah. Although her in a confrontation with Vegeta would be interesting.
Oh no, he would go down like freaking a sack of hammer.
Yeah, let's be honest.
What was it in DBZ Abridged where I think it was either him or 18 that asked the question, who sounds like a crying bitch, and then she just responds, "You do."
Yeah, it was 18. It's like, who has 2 broken arms and is a total bitch right now?
I only have one broken arm.
I only have one.
This guy.
That is probably like the greatest parody series because you know that the people making it absolutely they not only adore the franchise they're parodying, but they absolutely love what they're doing. And it's just a shame that the owners can't seem to get past the fact that, yeah, okay, we get from a legal point of view why you want them to stop it, but they're actually helping to promote your product.
Yeah.
But
also, never call a woman the way Vegeta called 18 because you will get the exact same beatdown on your work.
That's. I love Abridged's version of Vegeta, probably more so than the official. But even that one, I'm like, okay, dude, I don't have your 6 for that. Sorry, no, no. Even ready to be like, shit, bro, I'm not backing this.
Yeah.
Just no. This is what I like. This is a line I've said a lot. This is called a line in the sand, and you do not cross it. It's a bit like, with Lids. Don't ever talk smack about Sailor Moon because, in her words, that is my shit. Leave it alone. Or with Oni, just don't ever bring up Claire Lynch.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I know about that. No.
Long story short, very, very badly written arc in Impact Wrestling from about, I want to say 12 years ago, give or take. Because it was involving an angle with AJ Styles at the time, and This lady's acting was so bad.
That was acting?
Raiden will look at Tia Leone and go, okay, you're actually Oscar worthy compared to this woman.
Yeah.
TNA was not known for its acting, and the ones who were actually trying, no. Or who can forget Dixie Carter going, Hogan, don't leave. No lie. That was the pitch and cadence she went with.
Oh God.
And she's like, everyone want to get aboard
Stop, come back.
It's like, and she actually says one time, want to get aboard the Dixie train? Me? Absolutely freaking not. I'll give her this. She tried to make TNA something back in the day, because her perspective was win one fan over at a time, because they were going up against WWE at that time, and WWE at that point, it's like, it'd be like an independent studio versus Disney. Even when Disney are not, are producing awful movies, they're too big, so at that time Impact Wrestling weren't going to win, even if they did do some angles that were slightly better. And I like the fact that AJ Styles actually sort of lampshade. It's like, it seems to be the popular thing to have an angle where someone's called AJ these days, and I'm like, okay, so what you did, yeah, because at the time they were mocking what they were doing over on Raw with AJ Lee as the GM at the time, which, to be fair, I didn't think that angle was that bad. I don't know why they retired it so quickly. I find it amusing, going off on a slight tangent. They would have AJ Lee removed as GM for inappropriate business transactions in the story, and I'm looking like, right, so are we going to overlook everything Vicky Guerrero ever did as GM, Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, Eric Bischoff? You see how this list writes itself.
Pretty much.
Yeah. On another slight tangent, when they were before they were making CM Punk do the sobriety test, Eve Torres pops up and says, well, according to the current WWE rulebook, it is, no superstar should be drinking alcohol on premises anytime during a taping. And then Muse Reviews, popped in a clip of Austin just going, what? And I'm like, thank you! Thank you! It's like, are we going to overlook that, including the beer truck incident from '99? If that's the case, Austin should have been fired 10 to 15 times over. He's probably had more beer bashes in the ring since then, but the point still stands. Raiden, do you have any thoughts on the article, or like me, is Sailor Moon something you're aware of but not really intimately knowledgeable of?
Oh, I'm actually a big fan of Sailor Moon.
All right.
Because, I remember Sailor Moon Eternal. I think it was the second season. Bruh. Yeah. Oh man, when she entered her first or second phase, bro. In every episode, she was one shot killing those Ayakaki sisters. Like, god damn. Like, it's crazy. It was like, she's always drained when she does it, but like, I don't know what it is, but yeah, she can definitely hold her own with them. So I feel like now watching Sailor Moon Eternal and just knowing the absolute lore of what she can really do, yeah, she can take out anybody she sees fit. Yes, even Goku. Mm-hmm. Like it's that pretty simple. If you're a big fan of the show, anime. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah. I think the article definitely hit the mark on what she can really do. Because people say, oh, she's just a stereotype, but nah, you know, like what she can really do, you're gonna be surprised. So I gotta say, God bless Miss Naoka Taguchi for creating the character and the whole world itself.
Yeah, I
Liz,
agree.
who would you say is more naive, Usagi or Goku, or is it kind of evenly matched in that department?
I mean, if we're
Probably
gonna look
Goku when it
at
comes
it,
to
that way,
sweets.
yeah. And
Hmm.
with Usagi, it's more sweets than anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Usagi, excuse me. I say it wrong. I apologize.
Happens to all of us, don't worry about it. Steve, same question. What do you make of it? And, is Sailor Moon something you're very knowledgeable about, or is it something that you're just aware it exists?
I only remember seeing vague clips of Sailor Moon when I was growing up, so wouldn't know what to say.
Of course, there was always a live action series at one stage during the 90s, wasn't there?
Oh, there
There
was.
was,
Yes.
there was, yeah.
Very short lived, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Whether they're still going to go ahead with the live action movie or not, I don't know, because I hear it pop up on occasion, but given how it took James Cameron, granted he didn't direct Alita Battle Angel, but he was the driving force behind it, the fact it took him to get probably the first decent anime live action adaptation done right. And as we've highlighted before, Hollywood doesn't have the best track record for doing live action versions. I mean, Ghost in the Shell and DBE, anyone? I'll give Ghost in the Shell this. In terms of visuals, it was probably much more on point than Dragon Ball Evolution.
Yeah.
Just trying to think, was there...
But,
Go on.
but hearing that Velma has a lower rating than Dragon Ball Evolution, let's sit right there. And
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
talk
whoa, whoa,
about
whoa, whoa,
that
whoa,
for
whoa,
a
whoa,
minute.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
Wind back a second. Velma is lower than DBE. Okay?
Yes.
Haven't you been paying attention, MJ?
I don't watch TV.
No, you idiots! Not the fucking TV, the internet. Everyone's been talking about Velma and its decline, and its like steep decline into the IMDb rankings.
Yes, it's
First,
like,
it was in the
what
top
fuck?
10. Then it was in the top 5. Now it's the number 1 most least popular animated program of all time.
I'm aware that it is infamous.
Like-
I didn't know that it had a lower rating than DBE.
Like, I'm going to be 100% honest. Oni has told me that he owes Dragon Ball Evolution an apology after seeing clips of Velma. That's how bad this is.
Yep.
I got nothing. Never thought those words would leave his mouth. Next minute, he'll go and say, Hogan Knows Best is more entertaining
No,
than
he
this.
will never say that. That will never happen. That will never happen.
But he was a Hulkamaniac during his youth.
He learned better, didn't he?
You'll change as we get older.
Kaiju, would you agree with the article? And again, is Sailor Moon something you're very knowledgeable of, or is it like me, you just know it's there?
I definitely grew up with a lot of Sailor Moon back in the day on, I think, it was Toonami, yeah.
Yeah.
And I did watch a lot with my sister. I know it was my sister's favorite anime, favorite thing almost for the longest time. So it's something I've had a lot of nostalgia for, but I just haven't. And I know several cousins I know who have grown up with Sailor Moon a lot. I just never. It just has never been a franchise that I've had the time to revisit and further appreciate as an adult. I have learned more and more about the franchise itself. I am aware of the new anime that's out currently.
It's on
What
Netflix.
else? I know there's a live action Sailor Moon series that I hear is pretty good. from the 90s as well, or maybe it was the early 2000s. I know there's like a stage play of
Yeah.
Sailor Moon. It's everywhere. In fact, I do have an image I think you guys would really like, and it is the creator of Sailor Moon alongside one of the biggest influences on her manga. And there you go. Check out who she's with.
Oh
Oh
wow!
my god, it's the Power Rangers!
Or the Jew Rangers in this case, given that she was a very huge fan of Super Sentai growing up. She basically took the idea of Cutie Honey and infused it with the team dynamic of Super Sentai, giving the world a blend the best of both worlds.
Wow.
So yeah, I definitely have a lot of a little bit of extra trivia. Do you know who she's married to?
Who is she married to?
Go on. I forgot his name, but I know he's the guy behind Hunter x Hunter and Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yes, he is.
Oh my god!
I think that's something that Win pointed out when I was streaming one of DJ Sonic Freaks, some of DJ Sonic Freaks' Vaporwaves, where you would see two of the leading protagonists outside a Blockbuster video rental store, and Win actually pointed out all the...
Hiro Togashi, right?
He's the guy with the green jacket, right? Or at least the leading character was.
Of Yu Yu Hakusho,
No,
yes.
No, that's the guy. That's the guy who's Naoko was married to.
All right. Wow.
But yeah, so I definitely have a lot of. Go ahead.
Also, I find it real funny that Sailor Moon was on Fox Kids.
Yeah.
It was, and it was the most edited shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I think that was the early Deke version, right? Because I vaguely remember watching it like.
It was.
So I remember there was like a string of Deke programs that came on before Fox Kids actually began.
Yeah.
Because almost everything that Fox put out was made by Saban or produced by Saban.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not only that, they also had Card Captor Sakura on there too. So I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was just called Card Captors at the time, so it was like
Right, because they tried to take this obviously like shoujo series and trying to a series aimed at girls and try to aim it at boys.
Yeah, I'm like,
By
removing all the
Pokemon.
by removing all the romance portions of the story and just focusing solely on the action, and even trying to change the main protagonist from the girl to the boy.
I remember that. Oh my god.
But anyways, yeah. So I have a lot of respect and reverence for Sailor Moon. I wish I was more knowledgeable than I am currently, but I still try to keep tabs on the franchise whenever possible. But in terms of this article itself, you know me, I've said this countless times already. I think who would win scenarios are complete and utter bullshit. They're a absolute waste of time. Who fucking, in my opinion, who fucking cares who is stronger than than what else? All I care about is the story and the characters within the context of said story. Now, can official crossovers be entertaining? Absolutely, and I always love it when I see like characters from two franchises interacting, whether they're fighting each other or teaming up with each other, whether it's Transformers versus Mazinger Z or fucking Devilman versus Cyborg 009. I'm more interested in the story aspect, the character interactions, and maybe even the spectacle than just the fight itself. So in terms of this article, it feels kind of like again, no offense to Sailor Moon whatsoever, but it feels like this article is like an even lazier version of something like Death Battle. And I don't even like Death Battle, but I can sort of respect the amount of research they put into their content. Meanwhile, here it's like, oh, Goku's strong, but Sailor Moon, she's practically God. Yeah, Naruto's strong, but so is Sailor Moon. All Might is strong, but Sailor Moon is stronger. It feels like a very vapid article that's only made to fill a quota for this website. It's like
Yeah.
we need to pump out 20 articles this week. What do you got? Sailor Moon versus Goku. Good. Make an article about that and bring it on my desk in 2 hours.
Again, for me, when he was reading the article, what lost it for me was when he called them Sailor Scouts. I'm like, oh god, you're going doing this? Okay, all right.
Actually, the article was written by a woman.
I'm sorry, she kind of fucked up there because they're called Sailor Senshi or Guardians if you want to be more fluent with English. Excuse me? No, they were called Scouts in the 90s because that's how they were dressed. Kinda. I'm sorry, Deke kind of pissed me off.
Yeah, there's
Basically, you had your hand out.
There's a reason
Basically,
why.
basically you
Yeah.
had your hand out. You were like, boy.
No, excuse me, no.
Yeah.
Folks,
Yeah, for me, this is why I don't really go back to that dub, or I don't go back to the redub they did a few years back because I just am so burned by
Yeah, Cloverway and Deke, I'm like, no thank you, I'm good. I prefer the newer dub, thank you very much, because at least they're more faithful to the source material. By the way,
Okay, I think I might go back to that.
there's a
congratulations,
lot of shit.
congratulations, folks! You've awoken Kitsune Vegeta.
Just okay. I'm sorry. There's a lot of things in the Deke dub I have problems with. More specifically, trying to turn Uranus and Neptune into cousins. Why would you think that's okay?
Yo, what the hell?
Because we can't have
That was
children
so
knowing that
Stupid.
we can't have children knowing that gay people exist.
Ah.
Oh, Jesus.
Again, to bring back a running gag. It was the 90s, different sensibilities.
Yeah, even that, I'm like, no, fuck you. No,
Really?
No, we're not doing, no,
Yeah.
no. I
Also,
mean,
I
it was
could be wrong.
very
Also,
popular in the South. I joke now because I live here.
I would like to say, we do not claim these people.
Okay, that makes me feel better a bit.
Yeah, there's a line that Oni likes to say sometimes where he will just say, and these are his words, "Welcome to the South. We're so messed up."
He legitimately says that every day. Like, welcome to our town. Just like, this is terrible.
Hi there, Oli Rikaku. I'm Brock Lesnar. I just moved next door. You're gonna go to Oni. Let's move, please. Let's move.
No, I think he would be asking. We're leaving right now. No, we're not. We're staying here. Why? This is funny.
On a different note, Kaiju, would you say for future reference?
No.
You didn't know what I was going to ask.
I know it's gonna be stupid. No, I'm joking. Go ahead.
Oh my goodness.
Would you say for future reference, it'll be safe for me to stream movie reviews on here? Because that's one thing I've been a little bit hesitant about since coming over to Twitch.
I don't see why not. I know plenty of people who stream their content before re-uploading it to YouTube.
Alright. Okay then, we will definitely try that as an experiment for March 20 when the first review's ready, but like I say, I'll probably have it rendered and uploaded long before then, but gotta keep to a schedule and what have you.
Yeah, if anything, you can always just do like a, what do you call it, like a test run before you end up actually doing it for reals.
Yeah, there is that. Because what I tend to do if I do the commentary from the live streams, I'll actually do it in Vegas where I actually paste the movie review back in, but then I have to alter the audio slightly, because otherwise you get kind of an echoing effect where it sounds like it's in stereo, and that can be a little bit distracting, which is why I haven't posted the commentary for either Ghostbusters Afterlife or Sonic the Hedgehog. But it's safe to say that Lids and the guys really did appreciate that, and you actually got plugged in that, sir.
Oh, cool. Thanks. Did you show my comic though?
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I was joking mostly, but thank you very much.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of kaiju, what did you think of the little thing that you got used the other day?
Can you repeat that again? I think you were cutting off.
What did you think of that little commission I got from Jane the other day?
Oh yeah, it was incredible, and I'm very, very touched that you did that for me, and I greatly appreciate it, man. It truly was like the biggest highlight of my week.
And just so anybody knows, he's open for commissions right now.
How much does he charge?
Even for 25 pounds for just simple walking animations, like the one I got for Kaiju, and if you want animations, he charges about £500 per minute of animation.
Oh.
Well, I definitely don't have that, but a simple walking animation of Mara would be intriguing.
Now, here's an important question, though. Can he make an animation like from the ground up, or does he require a reference image?
Really depends on what sort of animation you want to go for. He usually is most of the stuff he does is based around paleo art.
All right.
But does he draw the paleo art from scratch?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll definitely have to check that out.
And for those who may not know, paleo art just means art with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And other prehistoric life.
Yeah. That's generally his specialty, from what I've gathered.
I'll definitely have to look into that, because it'll give me some ideas for future projects. I'll leave it at that. Okie dokie. I think that's probably where we'll probably leave it, because we've kind of gone over time, but you know what? It's all good. So.
Is it though? Is it really?
I don't really see anybody to go raid. Oh, wait a minute. The little lemon bun is still about, so we'll go and raid her. She's what Wynn would describe as a cinnamon roll. She's just very sweet.
Aww.
She total sweetheart. She curses once or twice, but it's never like for the sake of. It's more like within the moment kind of deal. So we're gonna go over and raid her. Just as usual, reminder, back on Twitch Tuesday and Wednesday night for not only Sonic Tuesdays and Jurassic Wednesdays at 10:30 p.m. UK, 5:30 Eastern, and 2:30 Pacific Standard Time. And of course, we're back with Sunday Night Live next Sunday, 6 p.m. UK, 1 p.m. Eastern, and 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Don't forget to subscribe and follow Kitsune Rakaku and Oni Rakaku at their respective Twitch pages. And don't forget to check out Kaiju Noir's publications, which are available on Amazon.com and Comixology for your reading pleasure.
Remember, read it, share it, review it.
Exactly. Thank you very much. I'm glad that you certainly remembered all of that while I was away. And to also plug another friend of mine's work. So my friend Miyako Kojima, she is a horror manga artist, as well as the artist behind the 90s X-Men manga. She is putting together her very first manga is being published in English for the very first time. It's called Wonder House of Horrors, and And if you happen to be a fan of 60s and 70s horror manga, that's definitely where she draws a lot of her inspiration, especially from like the works of Umezu Kazuo. If you ever heard of the Drifting Classroom, that's sort of like the vibe that she's going for. It's an anthology of short stories published by Starfruit Books. Put the link in the chat below. So it's up to MJ whether or not he wants to share it elsewhere. So yeah, it's up for pre-order now. It'll be coming out very, very soon. And so I do want to help out, promote her work to make sure as many people in the West, in the English speaking, among an English speaking audience, can check out her work if they are interested.
All right, let me just hang on. Probably better if I just go straight to open link. Right. Let me. Right. Yep. Posted link there, and we'll go to do the raid again because I cancelled it because by the time the raid would have gone through, you would have been cut off in mid-sentence, so just wanted to make sure that got all the way through. Okay, here we go again.
Right.
Well, it's professional courtesy. You don't cut somebody off when they're trying to help somebody out, so... Okay. Until then, folks, good night from the night. Go support Oni and Lids on their respective pages, and do give a follow to the Lemon Bun, and as a suggestion, do give her a subscription, because like with Nuclear Shark and like with Alley Cat, who I started following earlier this week, she's very dedicated to her Jurassic World Evolution live streams, and because I donated one sub to her, she named a visitor center after me known as the MJ Knight Foundation Center, and I'm like, oh, you flatter me. Hey, when you get given good things, you don't question it, you just nod and smile politely. Like, I don't know, the Kaiju Noir Manga Library. Or like the Only School Hard Knocks of Wrestling. It'd be like, no, he'll enjoy that too much.
Yeah.
Or the Sir Stephen Pun Museum. No, he'll enjoy that. Way too much.
Oh.
Okay. We're out in 5 seconds, folks, so have a good night. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Hi.
Now, if
Yeah. I've been to ones where they have